Hello and welcome to our YouTube live stream event where we'll be introducing our National Girls Collaborative Project Youth Advisory Board members. My name is Amanda Sullivan. I'm Senior Program Developer here at the National Girls Collaborative Project, or NGCP, and I'm so thrilled that you're all here and that we're all going to get to know the brilliant young women on our Youth Advisory Board. Just a couple of logistical notes before we get started and meet our amazing speakers. If you need any closed captioning, you can find that in the lower corner of your screen. And we'd love for you to use the comments and chat to introduce yourselves, ask questions, share reactions and comments. Later on in our event tonight, we will pull some questions from the audience, but you can go ahead and start putting them in whenever you think about them. So before we jump in and meet our Youth Advisory Board speakers, in case this is the first time you're joining us for a National Girls Collaborative Project event, I wanted to give you a little bit of background on who we are at NGCP, what we do, and what our mission and vision are all about. So we are a national network of diverse stakeholders who are advancing the agenda in gender equity. We bring together organizations that are committed to informing and encouraging girls to consider STEM. Our vision is to support and create STEM experiences that are as diverse as the world we live in. And we believe that STEM skills can be acquired by anyone and fostered in everyone. Our initiatives build confidence and create a community of lifelong STEM activators. And our three essential goals are here. You can see them. We hope to build and sustain our network of advocates to provide equitable and inclusive STEM opportunities, to catalyze equity in STEM from research to practice by providing actionable knowledge that transforms the STEM experience, and to increase our collective impact by strengthening organizational effectiveness. And you can learn a lot more about our mission and goals on our website, ngcproject.org. I just want to share a few of our activities that you might be interested in, that you might want to get involved with or check out some of our resources. We're involved in many activities virtually and nationally, as well as through our local collaboratives. So a few of them are on screen here. We partner with organizations to scale and deliver content, such as the Leap into Science National Network in partnership with the Franklin Institute and the Million Girl Moonshot, in partnership with STEM Next and the Mott After School State Networks, serving hundreds of educators via local networks. Working with Lyda Hill Philanthropies, NGCP manages the If Then Collection, a digital library housing photos, videos, and other media of women in STEM fields. All of these media and resources are available at no cost. Locally, state collaborative leadership teams offer convenings, providing professional developments, mini grants for innovative projects when funding is available, as well as distribute their own regular newsletters spotlighting local resources. And of course, I think you know that NGCP also hosts a youth advisory board, and I won't say too much about that because that's what we're all here for tonight, to meet these youth advisory board members and hear about what they're doing to guide the mission and future of NGCP and the future of STEM more broadly. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Candid Mack. She is our Youth Advisory Board Manager and also the Program and Events Coordinator at NGCP. Throughout her professional career, Candid has established the first small business incubator and pitched at competition for the Queens Public Library. Candid's overall mission is to create a generation of leaders that are goal-oriented and will become successful entrepreneurs and professionals. In 2021, she served as a mentor for Intrepid Museum's Goals for Girls program, where she mentored girls in STEM, creating mock businesses. And for the past 5 months, Candid has been bringing her passion and vision to the Youth Advisory Board at NGCP. Welcome, Candid.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you for the great introduction. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy for the audience to learn a lot about our Youth Advisory Board. Just to give you a little bit of insight, the Youth Advisory Board, we're here to provide feedback for the NGCP initiative and also to inform the future direction. I would say, even though it's been 5 months, it's been a filling and rewarding 5 months to lead the girls and to learn about their dreams, aspirations, in their STEM career choices. We are just want to let everybody know we are having a town hall meeting October 19th. So if you're part of the NGCP's newsletter, please be on the lookout for that information. And I don't want to hold this I don't want to hold this up, so I would like to get this started with our first Youth Advisory Board member, Sandra. She is actually our co-chair. Sandra, please take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandra. And I'm a senior at Carmel High School from Carmel, Indiana. It is so great to meet all of you and be here today, and I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful night or afternoon, depending on where you are coming in from. So I've always been fascinated from math and computer science, even from a very young age. It's been a huge part of my life growing up. This summer, I had the opportunity to attend a program called RSI that was hosted at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And there I had an opportunity to pursue my love of computer science even further. I got to work in a lab to develop aggregation algorithms to utilize the wisdom of unskilled crowds to identify breast cancer in patients, which was really amazing. However, because I've been involved in STEM so heavily my entire life, I've also had experiences where I've usually been one of the only girls in my classes or in my competitions. And I think the field is limited significantly by the lack of diversity in the STEM field, which is why it's been so amazing to me to be able to join the Youth Advisory Board, having access to all these amazing resources and meeting my brilliant peers from across the nation. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here tonight, and I hope that we all walk away from this webinar with something, having learned a lot more. Oh, and I'm passing it on to Mary, our junior board co-chair.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary. I'm a YAB junior co-chair and also currently a high school sophomore living in Houston, Texas. I'm originally from Lagos, Nigeria, and my STEM interests mainly lie in the field of computer science because I think it offers boundless creative opportunities. I'm specifically interested in its intersection with artificial intelligence and all things machine learning. In my free time, I enjoy app and web development, reading, and writing original poetry. Personally, I joined the YAB because I knew that not only would it be a great opportunity for me to advocate for women and girls in STEM, which is a topic I'm extremely passionate about, but also get to meet like-minded girls who share similar interests as me. That's a little bit about me, and I'm extremely excited to talk about my experience in the NGCP today. I'll pass it over to my fellow YAB member, Nikita.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, everybody. My name is Nikita, and I'm super excited to be here. I am currently a senior at Interlake High School from Bellevue in Washington State, and I am super passionate about math, astronomy, and physics. In the future, I aspire to study astrophysics and computer science in order to make new discoveries about the cosmos. And in my free time, I love to go hiking, camping, rowing. I love to stargaze, and I definitely love to play video games. I started playing It Takes Two over the summer, and I am obsessed. But my STEM journey started when I was a little kid. I used to live in India, and I used to go up to the roof of my apartment with my dad and watch the stars. So that's how I got interested into my field, which is astrophysics. But I first got into a girl only space in third grade when I participated in this math and science competition called GEMS. And it was this absolutely amazing space with high school role models. And I wanted to see myself in their footsteps when I was a high schooler. So I started volunteering in my freshman year for that very same program. And in my sophomore year, I got promoted to be the director of that program. And so that was really full circle for me. And I really wanted to use that privilege and that mentorship to make a difference in my community. And the same sort of logic applied as to why I joined the Youth Advisory Board. So I joined last year, and I've absolutely loved making connections with these amazing girls from all over the country and having meaningful discussions and being able to collaborate and work together to shape NGCP's initiatives. Thank you very much, and now I will pass it back to Candid.
Thank you, Nikita. So Chloe is a youth advisory board member, but she'll be joining us a little bit later in the show. But I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. She is a junior from Huntington, West Virginia. She's interested in military science and aerospace engineering. Her dream is to become an astronaut, specifically the first female astronaut from West Virginia. And her reasons for joining Youth Advisory Board, from what she told me, is that she wants to empower other girls and be around like-minded females in STEM. So you'll be meeting Chloe a little bit later, and I will hand it back over to Amanda.
Thank you. Wow. I'm already inspired just hearing about your passions and learning more about you and your motivations for joining the Youth Advisory Board. So I'd love to just dig into that and get to know you all a little bit better and learn more about your experiences on the Youth Advisory Board. So my first question tonight is for Sandra and Mary. You are the Youth Advisory Board chairs. And so I'm curious if you can each tell me a little bit more about what that role means to you and what your vision for being in that role this year, what that vision looks like. Sandra, would you like to start?
Of course, thank you so much. So, as one of two co-chairs of the Youth Advisory Board, we have the roles of, for example, planning and leading our meetings and coordinating events, keeping members accountable and organized, making sure that we're all working towards the same common goals as effectively as possible. But I would also say that being the co-chair of the YAB is actually so much more than that, because the YAB is composed of a group of such amazing girls, and we're able to learn so much from each of them. And so one of the previous co-chairs actually said this to me, and it really resonated to me. But our job as co-chairs isn't really to lead in the traditional sense, but to lead in a more grassroots, bottom-up manner in which our job is to create a space where every girl feels encouraged and empowered to express their opinion and voice what they're really thinking. And so I feel really lucky and really privileged to be in this role. Specifically, what I bring to this role, I come from a pretty rural state that's not super focused on STEM, which means that I have the uniqueness and nuance in my perspective, where I really prioritize values like equity of access to opportunity, regardless of gender, income level, or geographic location. I believe everyone should be able to access the same levels of opportunity, no matter who they are or where they're from. Something else I bring to this role is a clear vision and goal for the YAB to actually have an impact on girls, on women, on pretty much everyone in this nation that's interested in STEM, because the NGCP is a national organization with so much influence and so many resources. So it's really amazing the actual impact and the amplification that our voices are able to have. It really is an honor to have this position, and my ultimate goal is to make sure that all of our voices are able to be heard and empowered to create sustainable, youth-focused, innovative solutions to equity in STEM. So I'll pass it on to Mary.
Yeah, thanks, Sandra. So as a junior co-chair, the majority of my role really lies in helping aid the two chairs of our youth advisory board, and also mainly helping facilitate collaboration between the board. I aid in achieving various goals, whether that's providing feedback on various meeting agendas or even helping start conversation. To me, my role, and really the role of all the chairs, is to help us as a group collaborate better. And I'm extremely excited to bring my passion for STEM, optimism, and even my experiences being a girl in STEM, because I grew up being the only girl in my computer science classes and really the only girl that showed any interest in computer science courses at all. So I'm really excited to bring my experiences into the Youth Advisory Board. And my main intention for the YAB is for us not only to be peers who are working for the same cause, but also genuine friends outside of the NGCP. So yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear. I'm really struck by your approach to leadership as the chairs, that it's really about amplifying everyone's voices, encouraging everyone, making sure that everyone's voices and opinions are valued and heard, and that really is reflective of NGCP's mission and our goals for women and girls in STEM more broadly. And you also spoke a bit about your impact, and you really are having a big impact. For those of you joining us, our Youth Advisory Board not only works on, their own skills and experiences that they're having, but they really are a guiding voice on our NGCP initiatives and the future of what we value and what we pursue in our projects at NGCP. They are our connection to young people and what really matters to them. So thank you so much for sharing that, Sandra and Mary. And now, Nikita, I would love to hear a bit about your experience on the Youth Advisory Board as well. Perhaps you could share some of your highlights or one special highlight of your experience on the Youth Advisory Board so far.
Sure. I mean, it's really, really difficult to pick one, so I'm going to talk about two. The first one is the connections that I was able to make with these amazing, diverse people. I've done almost all of my education in the same place in the Bellevue School District in Washington State, and our community is extremely diverse, but there is some similarity there just by growing up in the same place, interacting with this around the same people my entire life. And so to be able to connect with these amazing girls from all over the country and see and hear their experiences and listen to what they bring to the table was a really empowering experience. And I just find it so genuinely fun to be able to talk to them and also have these meaningful discussions with them, because everybody has such different ideas, and it's so amazing to hear all of that in one space. And that's probably hands down my favorite thing about the Youth Advisory Board. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is just we have some really, really cool experiences. And one that stands out to me is when this group called the Super Sisters came and talked to us in a meeting. And so the Super Sisters are a group of wonderful women who are making baseball cards, but instead of having baseball players on them, it's famous women, and they have like a little excerpt about who she is. And I thought that was just so cool that we were able to share our knowledge about like our experiences and have that be actually put into work into these baseball cards, and our voices have an impact on this initiative. And I just thought that that was really cool and impactful, and I would highly recommend everybody to join because it is just so cool and so fun, and you get to meet so many amazing people. My experience.
Thanks, Nikita. Yeah, you know what? We should mention that it's really fun, right? And it's so amazing to hear that you have really enjoyed that connection, meeting girls from across the country that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise, and having this shared experience. And that's one of the benefits of having this like virtual group that allows people from all over the country to get involved and connect, collaborate, and learn from one another. All right, we're going to move into some more juicy questions. Obviously, you all spoke in your introductions about how passionate you are about representation of girls and women in STEM. And many of you spoke about equity more broadly and your passion for advocating for more equitable experiences for all youth and all people. So I want to get into your perspectives on these big issues a little bit more if we can. So Sandra, maybe you can get us started and tell us why the representation of girls and women in STEM is an issue that you're passionate about.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the issue of female representation in STEM is really important to me for two main reasons. The first is kind of a more macro society level one, which is that I'm really big in computer science and technology and things like that are really important to me. And the technology that we're designing today are designed to serve and like be used by a really diverse world. The issue is that if the teams and the engineers and the computer scientists that are building these technologies, if the diversity of our world isn't represented in those teams as well, then we're going to have some kind of fundamental disconnect between what the technology that's being outputted, people that are actually going to be using it. technology is going to be not serving those people to like the best of its extent. And I'm someone that believes that technology is such a power and force for good that if we're not able to maximize its use and its application for everyone, then we are failing as computer scientists and engineers and as people in STEM. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that female representation in STEM is so important. The other reason I think it's so important is on a more personal level. As a girl who has grown up doing STEM, I'm really familiar with the sense of outsidership that's imposed on you when you are one of the only girls or one of the only anythings in like a STEM environment. It's really difficult, but I also know the importance of having female peers and specifically female mentors. I've had female mentors that have completely changed the trajectory of my like path through life, and I know personally just how much of like a personal impact and how much they've inspired me. And I think that's an impact that I will never fully be able to articulate. And so sometimes I think to myself like, oh, I'm only one person, like I'm only one girl, and it's a little demoralizing, like what impact can I actually have? But then I think to myself like, because of the female mentors that I've had, I'm inspired to also go on and mentor other females in these fields. I'm inspired to empower my peers because I've seen them empower me and I've seen them empower each other. So I know that like just one effect, like one action that you have can have a much broader effect. And so that's why particularly working to increase representation in STEM is so important to me.
Thank you for sharing that, framing that bigger societal issue, what with the technology and the innovations that we all rely on every day, and the personal reason that it's important to you. And it's so great to hear that you've had those positive experiences with mentors in your own life. I know I can relate to that because female mentors really helped to guide me and shape my journey in a way that it otherwise wouldn't have turned out the same way. And I just have to commend all of you on the Youth Advisory Board and everyone here tonight speaking, because you're now reaching so many people as role models, sharing about your STEM experience with an even broader audience, everyone who's tuning in with us on YouTube right now, and sharing that you can persevere. And here are some of the STEM things that you've gotten involved with, and sharing opportunities for others to get involved in the Youth Advisory Board or in other STEM initiatives. So I just want to congratulate all of you and mention that and acknowledge that you're all being such powerful role models for other young women out there tonight. All right, Mary, I would love to ask you a similar question and relating it a little bit more specifically to your role on the Youth Advisory Board. So could you speak to how you feel that the Youth Advisory Board is making a difference for girls and women in STEM?
Yeah, of course. I definitely feel like the Youth Advisory Board is making a difference for girls and women in STEM through our youthful perspective and the possible feedback we get to provide to the NGCP organization as a whole. So, based on our own experiences being girls in STEM and the experiences we've witnessed and learned through those around us, this helps the NGCP refine its programs and also ensure they're addressing the real, genuine, and raw needs of girls and women in STEM. I would even venture to say that we're not just providing feedback, we're acting as advocates and catalysts for meaningful change and helping build an environment and even a world where girls can be inspired, supported, and empowered to thrive in STEM careers. So I would definitely say our feedback is definitely the main reason why we're making a difference for our world and women in STEM.
Yes, Mary, I agree. I think I spoke to it a little bit earlier and you so eloquently expanded on that. We rely on your voice and your opinions and your impact. You really do impact the work that we do, the projects that we seek out, the directions that we take. And we are so grateful to the expertise and the experiences that you bring to the table for us at NGCP. And then therefore we can make a positive impact more widely. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for the work that you do to help us and be that youth voice for us in the work that we do. All right, we have Chloe here with us, and I'd love for you all to meet Chloe and to ask you a question about what advice you might have for younger girls who are interested in STEM. Could you share a few words about that?
Mhm. I first want to start off with apologizing that I'm so late. I'm sorry I had a sports practice, but to the question, my biggest advice is to have a voice for yourself and to stand up for what you believe in. And I think that's our purpose here on the board, is to stand up for something that we believe in, which is equity in the workforce for women, especially in STEM. And I just feel like you really need to stand up for yourself, especially as a woman in STEM, because the only way we're going to encourage more girls and women to be interested in this field is to help them stand up and have their own voice against discrimination. I've personally experienced it. I know other girls on the board have talked about it, and that's what makes me feel so close to them, is that it's relatable that we all experience the same sort of pushback in the field of STEM. But my biggest advice to you is that you just really need to stand up for what you believe in. And it doesn't just apply to STEM either. It applies to everything in life.
So true. It does apply to everything. And finding that confidence to have that voice can be so hard, but you do really need to be able to speak your truth and speak your voice and stand up for yourself. So that is, words of wisdom I wish I had heard when I was younger. I still struggle with it myself sometimes. So thank you so much for being here and for sharing that with us. Nikita, I am hoping you can look forward for us a little bit. What do you hope or envision as the future of STEM or of women's role in STEM?
Yeah, I mean, I think all three of my fellow board members have touched on this, but first and foremost, increased accessibility to STEM. I think it's so, so important. It can't be emphasized enough that diversity is key. For me, I come from a community. I'm incredibly lucky to be from a community where girls are encouraged to be interested in STEM and pursue their passion in STEM. And I go to a school where there are just as many girls in STEM classes as boys. And there's such a striking contrast between the way that I've been encouraged by my parents, my teachers, my mentors, and how to lead my life, to the way that so many other girls around the world don't have any choice in their life. And I think that for me, this is the driving force to make a difference. And I hope that with all the work that's being put in by the Youth Advisory Board and by these other amazing programs, that we will be taking those steps towards a more diverse future in STEM, because STEM is literally everywhere. It's in every nook and cranny. It's being used every single day to develop these amazing new innovations and discoveries. And you need those perspectives, because everybody brings something unique to the table. And who knows, maybe somebody else has the perfect idea, but they're just not there to give it to you. And so you're struggling. And I just think that this is so important, and that increased perspectives can just make things so much easier, and it can pave the pathway to solving the world's biggest problems. And one thing that comes to mind, obviously, is the climate crisis. There is so much STEM going into that. And I think that having so many more people aboard will be really helpful in creating these new developments and discoveries that will help us solve the climate crisis and so many other problems. But on top of that, I'm just really excited to see where the future takes us. Recently, we've had the new, not new invention, but ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence becoming more mainstream, and that is huge. It has a huge impact on so many people's lives, and I'm really excited to keep on seeing the future of artificial intelligence and other technologies. I'm especially interested in the developments in the space industry. But overall, just more accessibility, more diversity in STEM, and I'm really excited to see where the future takes us.
Well, I'm definitely really excited to see where the future takes us in all of your hands. And the vision that you have for the future of STEM is so powerful and so inspiring. And it's interesting to hear you talk about how you had that encouragement in STEM, and how, we hope that all girls or all youth in general in the future will have that same level of encouragement. And just thinking back to what Chloe said about how everyone can, almost all girls can relate to, not being able to speak your voice or getting pushback in some capacity. Maybe, dreaming of a future where that's no longer an issue, where we don't face pushback for doing the things that we're interested in and passionate about. And what you said, it makes me think of something that our CEO at NGCP says quite often, where she dreams of a future where organizations like NGCP aren't needed anymore, because we have reached this diversity of perspectives and experiences in these fields that drive innovation in our country and globally. And we're working towards these crises and big global problems that you've mentioned. So thank you so much. Well, now let me turn it back with a couple of questions, if I can, to your fearless leader, Candid, to share with us a little bit more. I can see actually in the chat, several people have asked how they can get involved with the Youth Advisory Board. Some people are interested in joining. Is there any way you can tell us more about that process and how people who are interested can possibly join the NGCP Youth Advisory Board?
Yes, so right now applications are open to join the Youth Advisory Board. We're looking for new members for the 2023-2024 school year. So please feel free to click the link in the comments, or copy and paste another tab, because we don't want you to leave this broadcast. But fill it out, and I go through the applications and I set up an interview so I can learn more about you. So that's the easiest way, and it's not a 2-3 pages worth of questions. Is very simple to fill out. We just want to know your interest in STEM and why would you like to be part of the Youth Advisory Board.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I bet we're going to get a lot of great applications after what you and all the Youth Advisory Board members have shared tonight. Well, I think you and some of the other members tonight have kind of a big announcement about merchandise and a new store that you've started. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how we can get some cool new products and merchandise and also support the Youth Advisory Board at the same time?
Sure. So one of our goals for this year was to find unique ways to support the Youth Advisory Board and our goals and initiatives. So we developed we created an online store, which the link is in the chat. You can click that. We have T-shirts, mugs, stickers. One of our shirts says STEMinist, so that way you can support, all girls in STEM, whether you're male or female. We are all one to support each other. We need all the allies that we can to continue to empower girls in STEM. But we have everything there from, I think, mouse pads we have, you name it, is on the shop. And part the proceeds do go to support the Youth Advisory Board. Also, I would say you can shop now, but September 18th through the 23rd, if you shop at that time, you get 20% off.
Well, thank you. We always want to know when there's a good sale. And I was checking out the store earlier myself, and everything there looks so great. Congratulations to you and the Youth Advisory Board members for having this vision. If anyone needs to shop for like a little niece or nephew, I saw onesies in there. There's like youth sizes, and you can definitely take a picture and share with us on social media. We'll put in the chat all of our NGCP social media handles, and we would love to reshare your photos with your mugs and your shirts and all of your great STEMinist apparel. Well, without further ado, I want to get some questions going from the audience, because thank you to our wonderful audience for being so active, sharing who you are, where you're from. We love seeing you introduce yourselves in the comments, so keep that going. But I would like to start with a question that came in for Sandra and Mary, our chairs. How do you decide what to pursue when it comes to the Youth Advisory Board? You could use the store as an example, because that was a project you all worked hard on, or any of the initiatives or projects that you sink your teeth into. How do you come up with those ideas?
Yeah, so I would say that our number one priority when deciding what to pursue, what to implement, what not to implement, is just like the guidance and feedback from the members of the board. So for example, like we are hosting a town hall later in October. I think Candid mentioned it earlier on artificial intelligence. And so the reason that we decided to do this was because we obviously want to make sure that we're talking about things and like I guess creating discussion that's relevant to the current state of STEM, which is why we chose artificial intelligence, which is a topic that think we can have a really unique perspective on as young women in STEM, and B, we think would be really, really useful for people to hear our discussions and our questions with experts at this town hall. So I think that kind of outlines our general criteria for like what we really decide to, like you said, sink our teeth into is like, is it something that we think we could provide like some like discussion, like some perspective, something that's like something that can create change or like maybe it actually have an influence, and then B, something that we think would be of use for or like of use to like listeners, whether that audience be other young women in STEM, whether that audience be like people who are just interested in the topic that we're talking about. Like we always want to make sure that we're able to serve those people as best we can. Mary?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. We were mainly just guided by Candid and board members at the NGCP. And as for topics for initiatives, we're just mainly looking for things that are impacting our world today and how we can provide our youthful spin on it. So that was definitely the main criteria for everything.
That's awesome to hear that thought process and how you decide on these topics, especially for the town halls and some of your other initiatives. And if anyone's interested in joining a future town hall, other conversations with everyone in our group tonight with the experts that they're curating and they're organizing and bringing in, you definitely want to check out our events and announcements page on the NGCP website, and also consider signing up for our newsletter. That's the best way to hear about all of these events, conversations, and things that we host. All right. Okay. So we've gotten some, big questions coming in through the comments. So I'm going to read one of them out and I'll ask a couple of you to answer. And it's okay if you want to say, I don't have an answer for that, and we can pass it on to the next speaker. But people have wanted to know if any of you have encountered any discrimination or people discouraging you to participate in STEM. And I think we already heard like Nikita had a pretty positive experience, but maybe Chloe, you could speak to if you've faced any of that in your STEM journey or educational journey.
I definitely have. And I think the biggest instance I had, like fearing discrimination in STEM or like facing it, was in a classroom, which I feel like most of us do, especially when we take harder math and science classes and advanced placement programs. That happens to a lot of girls who are in there with probably more boys. I am currently in a aerospace engineering course at my high school. I'm in the 11th grade, and last year I took 1, 2. This year I'm taking 3, 4. Last year, me and my best friend, which came to be my best friend because we were the only 2 girls in the class, but we worked the hardest and our projects were always the best because we never goofed around, we never made fun of each other. But there were always boys in that class who would constantly peck at us because they were honestly jealous that our projects were doing well. And I came home one day and I was really upset about it. And I talked to my dad about it, who has always supported me through my entire STEM journey. And he told me that they make fun of us because they're jealous of us, but they also ask us questions because they respect us. So I think as long as you keep a calm demeanor while you're in the workspace, they're going to learn to look up to you. Not necessarily that that's something that you should always strive for, which technically it should be, but to be all in the same like playing field, it should be the ultimate goal. And I think that really helped us in our journey. I've also had an experience with a judge during a pageant who asked me why I wanted to go into such a male dominated field. And I kind of felt like she was asking me why wouldn't I settle for less because I'm a woman. but that also just made me more confident in what I want to pursue and my passion in STEM.
Thank you, Chloe, for sharing some of those personal stories and experiences. I'm sure that they resonate and a lot of people can relate to those experiences. I certainly had similar experiences growing up. I'm sure many of other people on the Youth Advisory Board and other people viewing tonight have had similar experiences in the classroom. And I love those wise words from your dad. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you to all the parents of our Youth Advisory Board members, the parents and caregivers who really are supportive of your STEM journeys. We focus a lot about what happens in the classroom, but parents, caregivers, family members, and friends are so important too. And like what you shared, Chloe, how you had a friend in the classroom and you were able to really focus and work hard and let all the negativity fuel your fire to do even more and do even better. It's so inspiring, and that's something that we can all take advice from and relate to. Well, I'd like to ask Candid a question that came in about the Youth Advisory Board. So, how long do girls serve on the board? Like, what commitment are they making if they apply and get on? And then, what about alumni? Do you keep in contact? How does that work? And I know you've only been managing for 5 months, but any pearls of wisdom that you can share with us?
No, so being that girls are between the ages, but in high school, 9th to 12th grade, so they can go from 9th grade and go all the way up until they graduate high school. And we do have an alumni board for those members who have graduated out of the Youth Advisory Board. We're currently revamping our alumni board, but we do stay in contact with. I do stay in contact with our current previous members from last year.
I love that you stay in contact, and especially hearing everyone who spoke tonight saying how much of a community it becomes. It's nice to know that that doesn't end right when you graduate and leave the board. So we had another question that came in earlier about the difference between the Youth Advisory Board and the flight crew through Million Girls Moonshot. And we answered that a little bit in the chat, but I think we have a member of our board who wants to help distinguish that for our viewers. Nikita, would you like to explain that a little bit? It is really similar.
Yes, it is. So the Million Girls Moonshot Flight Crew, for people who don't know, is a national initiative. And it is a group of passionate young women who are working together to increase the amount of education for girls in STEM. And yes, as Amanda said, they are very similar, but I think the main difference between the flight crew and the Youth Advisory Board is the Youth Advisory Board is more focused towards the NGCP's initiatives. So we're able to talk more about like what those initiatives mean to us and what we want to change based on how we feel and our perspective as a youth ambassador, whereas the flight crew is more about advocating for girls in STEM through like webinars or like conventions, things like that. But the main crux of both of these programs are extremely similar. The goal of having more STEM accessibility, more STEM education is very similar. But yeah, hopefully that clears things up a little bit.
Thank you, Nikita. I think that really did clear things up, and we appreciate you distinguishing the two, but also talking about that shared goal and shared mission of both. Well, we had a comment come in that I wholeheartedly agree with, that all of you are fantastic role models, and I completely agree with that comment. And we also got a question, and I think this is a great question to wrap up our panel discussion about what your future plans are. So maybe we can bring each one of you up one at a time, and you can just share in a nutshell what your future dream is.
All right. So, well, I mean, I guess in the somewhat short term, I am a senior in high school right now, so college applications are a huge thing in my mind. When I go to college, I'm definitely looking to major in something computer science related. More broad picture, big picture though, something that I've really been thinking about more lately, especially with college applications looming, is what I actually want to do like as a career. Um, and something I've realized that I think I might really like to do is be a cryptocurrency analysis. And so this is like somewhat of a niche field actually. Essentially, a cryptocurrency is very commonly used on the dark web and the dark market, like as their currency of choice because of its reputation as being untrackable. However, if you actually look at the underlying mathematics of the blockchain, it's in fact not entirely untrackable, and there are experts out there that are able to do so. This is something that I'm really passionate about because I both get to apply like my skills in math and computer science, and on the other hand, I'm actually like actively working to make the world a better place for like every single person like that is impacted by the dark web. So that's something I'm actually really excited to get more into, especially as I go to college. I guess just the other goal of mine is just to continue empowering my fellow women in STEM, to keep being a great role model, hopefully, to keep mentoring other women, and to just, yeah, empower other voices in this community.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sandra, for sharing tonight. Okay, Mary, would you like to share a little bit about your goals for the future?
Yeah, so I definitely want to continue coding and possibly go into computer science. I genuinely feel happy whenever I'm coding or programming. So I guess possible careers could be software engineering, where I program various applications and work with clients, stakeholders, and even end users. And I think that would be a great career path for me because I've definitely been trying to increase my skill and learn various programming languages through online means. And for as for college, I'm definitely thinking of majoring in computer science. But for what I'm possibly thinking of minoring in, I've actually been thinking of minoring in philosophy because I think it just provides so many amazing skills that you can use in your day-to-day life, problem solving skills, and just I just think it's great to know how the human brain works and how human reasoning works. So that's what I'm thinking of right now. I still have 2 more years of high school, so it's bound to change, but that's where my head is at right now.
That's amazing. And yes, paths are bound to change, but this is really great to see where you see yourself now. Go ahead, Nikita. Would you like to share a little bit about your goals and dreams for the future?
Yes. Like Sandra, I'm also a senior, so the short-term goal is just to get the college apps finished. And I'm really excited to make the most of my last year of high school. I'm excited to spend a lot more time with my friends and trying new things. And I'm really excited to go to college. I'm hoping to study astrophysics, and it's just a really exciting time in space exploration right now with like NASA's Artemis program and the Europa Clipper, and India recently landed on the moon, which was huge. And I'm just really looking forward to be able to contribute something to that and be able to, discover something new, because I feel like that is so profound and really, I just enjoy it so much. And on the side of girls in STEM, I want to continue advocating. I hope that, being able to participate in programs like this, like, I hope that somebody is able to take something away from that. And I just really love being able to talk to all these amazing people. And I hope to be able to continue doing that in the future and meeting amazing new people. And yeah.
Thank you, Nikita. And it's nice and refreshing to hear you say you wanted to have time to have fun with your friends, try new things, because that's so important to remember. It's always a balance between our work and our professional aspirations and our personal lives and those goals as well. Chloe, would you like to share a little bit about your dreams and goals for yourself?
So like I said earlier, I'm really interested in aerospace engineering. That's what I hope to major in college. I also hope to double major with biomedical engineering because I really want to study the effects of space on the human body. I'm currently planning to go to a military service academy, either the United States Naval Academy or the United States Air Force Academy, where I would serve in the military after I obtain my degree. I want to be a fighter jet pilot for the military. And I really want to serve because I feel like I'm doing something for the greater good, for myself, for the betterment of humanity. And that's really my entire goal in life, is just to be a world changer for the better. My biggest goal, though, once I've hopefully finished my military time, is to work for NASA and become the first female astronaut from West Virginia. I live in West Virginia, where everything STEM-based really revolves around agriculture and farming. So there's not a lot of opportunities here, especially for girls or minorities, to be interested in STEM other than growing plants and crops. And I really hope to bring that back to my home state.
Well, you're definitely all world changers already. And I couldn't agree more with a comment that just came in, that you all make the future of STEM and the future more broadly look very bright. I'm really excited to be able to continue following your names and your careers in the future. And I know that you are all going to do great and amazing things, because you already are. So I just sincerely want to thank each of you, Sandra, Mary, Chloe, and Nikita, for taking the time to share your thoughts and ideas with us tonight, and for being a part of our Youth Advisory Board and being our youth voice and shaping our mission and the work that we all do. And thank you as well to Candid Mack for leading your initiatives and for guiding you all in the work that you do, empowering you all to really make such a great impact. Candid, did you want to say any last words before we close up our live event for the night?
I just want to say thank you, Amanda, for being a great host and moderator. Thank you to the people behind the scenes that you don't see, Nancy and Risa. Thank you to everybody in the audience for just learning more about the Youth Advisory Board. This has been a great experience. They make my 5 months easy, and just continue to support the Youth Advisory Board. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you at the town hall. Back to you, Amanda.
We definitely hope to see you at the town hall. And if you enjoyed this event, we actually have another YouTube live event happening later this month with an author, a picture book author, Cheryl Haft. She's the author of a new picture book around girls in STEM. It's a really fun book that I've been reading with my kids. So we'll pop that link where you can learn about that. We'd love for you to take a few moments of your time to complete a really quick post-event survey. You know, you all said the speakers tonight were fantastic role models and you really enjoyed learning from them. I really enjoyed learning from them. So if you wouldn't mind taking a few moments to complete that quick survey, we'll put that link in the comments as well. And if you are inspired to support the work that we do here at NJCP so that we can continue doing work like our Youth Advisory Board and our other initiatives, we'll put a link in the chat where you can learn more about how you can support us as well. It has been such a pleasure being with all of you tonight. As Candid said, a huge thank you to Nancy and Risa behind the scenes, making this event go seamlessly. And a huge thank you to all of you. It was such an active audience with so many comments and questions for our Youth Advisory Board members. We really appreciate your time, comments, and ideas that you shared with us all today. And I look forward to seeing you at our next event. Take care.